Greetings. I hope everyone's having a beautiful day today. Today we're going to speak about the cultural significance of health. Now, keep in mind that culture and health go hand in hand. The word health is a social and political term, not a scientific term. Every culture categorizes and defines health differently based off their cultural perspective and the way they relate to unseen forces, which we call the belief system. Now, when we're talking about certain parts of the body or the periodic table, those names, zinc, magnesium, calcium, those are based off Greek and Western deities. All these things are used as delivery systems, and delivery systems in science is a way to attach you to another people's culture. So for example, if I were to give you the story of Romulus and Remus, who were the two brothers in Roman culture. They were twin brothers, and they lived on opposite sides of the city. Now, Romulus murdered his brother Remus, but before he murdered his twin brother Remus, he built a brick wall city, or brick wall in between them. Now, if I give you this story, you would say that's a story of literature, but that's a story of biology. What we call today the rhomboid muscle, which is the back muscle, comes from the story of Romulus. Rhomboid, Romulus. So we get the story of Romulus and Remus, we get the muscle called rhomboid muscle. So if he built a twin city, or a wall in between them, well, you have two rhomboid muscles, and the wall city would be considered your spinal cord. So you see, biology and literature go hand in hand because it's one thing. It's all related to culture. Now, sometimes we adopt other people's cultures, such as the Ayurvedic or the Indian system, which tells us we have 7 chakras. Now, a chakra is a cluster of energy or nerves that cross each other. In the body, they say we have 7 chakras. But from a holistic standpoint, there's actually more than that. But the 7 that we have in the body are what we have: the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, the crown chakra. Those are the 7. But we also have an auric chakra, an earth chakra, a solar chakra, a soul chakra, and a cosmic chakra. Now we'll go into further detail of what those chakras represent, but basically just keep in mind one of those chakras, which I said is the solar chakra, is the sun itself. That is the actual chakra itself. And the earth chakra, which is at your feet, is the chakra that connects you to your ancestors. So sometimes we adopt certain belief systems and other people's adaptation of what health is, and we go with it, not understanding that every culture has a definition of health, which goes into a field called ethno-medicine or ethnic medicine, meaning that every human or every people are not the same biologically. We have different amounts of bacterial flora. We have different structures of calcium and magnesium and selenium and sulfur that surround the cell. We have many different types of hair and different things. So the thing I'm saying is, if the Creator created things differently, then we should consider those differences. There's nothing to say anyone's better or worse. We're just saying that these are differences to be considered. And the fact of the matter is, for African people, that consideration has been grossly overlooked. So I'm just here to try to restore that balance. So if I were to give you a story of Hercules, and Hercules had a nephew named Ilios, and Ilios was stuck into what we call a watery swamp, and this watery swamp was called the Delta River. And So Hercules had to overcome these certain attributes, certain traits. Some people call the 7 deadly sins, or certain struggles to rescue his nephew Ilios. But in doing so, he came upon a 3-headed crab monster named Hydra. And Hydra was in this delta swamp, and Hercules had to defeat this 3-headed crab monster. This is why when you see a fire hydrant has 3 prongs to it, because Hydra in the Greek story represented a 3-headed crab monster. So Hercules was able to defeat this 3-headed crab monster named Hydra, and was able to rescue his nephew named Ilios. Now, I just gave you a story of biology, but you may think that it's a story of literature. What we call in chemistry and biology, we say that skin is derm. We say derm, D-E-R-M, derm for skin. But if I were to say head in chemistry or biology, I would say sep, C-E-P, sep. So the 3-headed crab monster would be your tri, which is 3, sep. So this is your tricep muscle here. And Hercules had to defeat the 3-headed crab monster to get to his nephew who was stuck in the delta swamp. Well, this is called your deltoid. So he had to get to the delta swamp, past the 3-headed crab monster. Now, in between your large and small intestines is a watery valve called the ileocecal valve. So you hear the word ileos in there. That's the nephew. So the watery swamp that separates your large and small intestines is called the ileocecal valve. So as you see, you have deltoid. He was trapped. So you have trapezoid, deltoid. So the 3-headed crab monster was trapped in the deltoid. So trapezoid, deltoid, tricep, 3-headed crab monster crosses the watery swamp, which is the ileocecal valve. So the story of biology relates to the story of literature, which is one thing. Some of this is already obvious, as we say that Achilles heel or Achilles tendon. The bone that separates or connects your neck to your skull or your head is called the Atlas bone. And the deity Atlas is always depicted as the man who holds the globe or the earth on his shoulder or on his neck. So since he holds the globe or the earth on his neck, the bone that connects your neck to your skull is called the Atlas bone. So what I'll be doing in future episodes, I'll be going through the ancient names of the body parts to relate us to our culture, to understand that every purpose of naming something is to relate you to a certain people's culture. The names of the weeks, so we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we know those are based off Greek deities or Western deities. So Sunday is the sun, Monday is the moon, Tuesday is Mars, Wednesday is Mercury, Thursday is Jupiter, Friday is Venus, and Saturday is obviously Saturn. And these energies and these days of the week help us understand culture better, but they also relate to certain energies that exist on a particular day. Every day of the week there's a different amount of what we call ideal gases or ratio nitrogen gases that are emitted from the atmosphere, which calibrate the brain to think a certain way. Since Mars is Tuesday, then Mars represents conflict. So we know Mars always has to do with war and conflict. Therefore, elections will always be on Tuesdays, or the day of Mars. So this is just a brief overview of cultural terms and health and how it relates to our everyday uses of language. I'll go deeper into these topics with a more formal presentation, but hope you guys are doing okay out there, and we'll stop the video here.